So here we are,
Yeah.
Jeff Roberti, a very good friend of mine. You know, we're here at your home in your living room.
Yeah.
I've been really looking forward to this interview.
Me too. I have been as well.
And, you know, I think the subject matter that we're going to delve into here is just really important right now for people to really, you know, get a lot of different views and ideas on how to stay healthy
Yeah.
and to boost their immune system. And so I've seen you go through a lot of evolutions like I have as well. You know, a good friend of ours that you recently met, Dan Pompa, has a saying, from pain to purpose, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you have a pain to purpose story. I have
Sure.
my own pain to purpose story. Maybe you could speak a little bit about, you know, where you came as a child, as far as were you into health and fitness at a young age, and kind of some of the evolution that's happened with you.
Yeah, I mean, I've gone through quite a journey, John. I mean, we all have our own stories. You know, I did not come from a wealthy family. Grew up the oldest of three boys.
Mm-hmm.
My father died at a young age, at the age of 46, which was devastating. He had a massive heart attack. I tell people it was the worst day of my life. But sometimes it's not the event, it's the meaning you give it. It's not what happens, it's what you do with what happens.
Mm-hmm.
And I use that as the fuel to really propel me in life. A life of service, going out there, doing something that counts, something that matters, making a difference in the world. And it really kind of, decisions shape your destiny. And that really put me on the path of self-responsibility for your own health. You know, our healthcare system has its challenges, as we all know. So I didn't want to end up like my dad. And I also lost my brother not too long ago, about 5 years ago. Paulie died. My dad died at 46. My dad died at 46, and my brother died at 49.
Yeah.
And both of heart disease. So
Yeah.
it runs in the family.
Mm-hmm.
So I've gone through quite a transformation with my own health.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I was really fit and healthy when I was younger, and then I got into the work world, like most people, right? And and focused on building my business, building my profession, building my career, and found myself where I started to, when I got into my 40s, it was like 5 pounds a year over a 10, 15-year period, and I found myself overweight.
Yeah.
And when I met with my cardiologist, he had said, Jeff, if it's not if, it's when. With your family history, you're a walking time bomb if you don't get this weight off. And so it had gotten away from me. My physical mastery had gotten away from me. And now, in the last 3 years, it's been, life transformational, and you've played a huge role in that. To really say, okay, I'm going to make some lifestyle changes, some behavioral modification, and really get serious about health and wellness and just vitality, just being physically fit. It just feels great getting up in the morning, just full of, of life, just feeling great.
Well, I bet there's a lot of people, watching this right now, and they're probably in the state that you were,
Right.
were overweight, they don't have the energy,
Yeah.
and they don't really see how they can get out of that trap.
Yeah.
And there's defining moments that happen where you're just like, you make a decision, right? And you change the course of your life, and you get the motivation to make those changes. What was that for you?
Yeah, when this was back in 2015 when my brother Paulie died. I grew up with Paulie, and it was devastating, just like my dad. And I had just spoken at a big event that I had spoken at. It was 10,000 people, and came back. And I'm in the health and wellness business myself, and a lot of people were like, Jeff, great talk, but how's your health? How you doing? And I know what they were saying. You weren't walking the talk. You weren't an example of. You were more of a warning than an example.
Yeah.
When you're supposed to be inspiring healthy living around the world. And that's when I came back home and met with the cardiologist. My blood pressure was sky high, my tris, my cholesterol, I was 70 pounds heavier than I am today.
Wow.
And I'll never forget, he's, like I said, he had said to me, with your family history and the numbers I'm looking at, it's not a question of if, it's just when.
Mm-hmm.
And I came home that night, John, and it was late at night. I was in my office, and you talk about just that defining moment, a moment in time. I had reached a threshold. I had reached a breaking point, basically of enough's enough. Quit making excuses. In other words, raise your standards. Step up. And I looked at a picture that night in my office, probably 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. I saw a picture of my dad sitting on my desk. I started crying. Saw a picture of my brother Paulie. I really started crying. Then I saw a vision of my mom's face and the pain of burying her son. That was it.
Yeah.
I couldn't let her bury a second son. And everybody said, well, Jeff, what'd you do? What'd you do? Well, we all know what to do. You got to do what you know. And that's when I called you. And we started putting together a protocol, a program. And we said, okay. I said, Don, I'm serious now. There's no more excuses.
Yeah.
And, between the Juice Plus products, which I represent, I really got serious about taking those products and then coming into the clinic and working with you. I mean, the weight flew off. I couldn't believe, just changing a few simple disciplines, right?
Yeah.
Equaled multiple rewards.
Yeah.
And it was, that year of 2016, I took the weight off in a year.
Yeah.
And now I've kept it off. It's one thing to take it off. It's another thing to keep it off.
That's
and
true.
then 17, 18, 19, and now we're 2020.
Yeah.
And I'm going to be 58 years old here next week, May the 3rd. I'm 58, and I feel like I'm 28 years old.
Well, if
I mean, talk about having just health and vitality and just energy.
Yeah.
I get up at 5 o'clock in the morning and I go all day. So it's just like being reborn, a rebirth.
Yeah. If I could speak to that, I've seen you through all these processes, and I was there with you when Polly passed away, and I've seen you overweight and just in terrible shape, and I've seen you now, and literally it seems like every time I see you, you look younger.
No.
You're putting on more muscle mass. You're
starting to happen.
exercising. It's just the transformation is, and that's one of the reasons I really wanted to come out here and do this interview, because your health status at your age and where you came from is shocking to a lot of people. Like and we can show a picture.
Yeah.
We'll go ahead and go to that picture of that driver's license before and after.
Yeah, show that.
And
the pictures is worth 1,000 words,
yeah.
right? I mean, my head was like this, my stomach was out here. Yeah. I could swallow a watermelon.
And I can really sympathize, because a lot of the viewers who know my background, I had Lyme disease, and you saw me go through some really challenging health issues, and I was in the health business as well. And you being in the health and fitness and with Juice Plus, and I'd like to get into that a little bit as well. It's challenging because you're trying to represent something, but there's a difference between your purpose and how you're showing up in the world.
Yeah.
And that doesn't feel good.
No. And like Dan said, I turned my pain into purpose. Sometimes, John, in life, the deepest pain that you go through gives you the most growth. You become more, and you have more capacity to serve. To really pay it forward and make a difference in the world. That's why I said, sometimes it's not the event. When my dad died or my brother died, it wasn't so much the event, it was the meaning that I gave it.
Yeah.
And it's not what happens, it's what you do with what happened. Listen, I've done very well and sold billions of dollars worth of Juice Plus. But like I said, my health got away from me, my physical mastery. And that's when I called you after what had happened with Paulie. And people were starting to say, Jeff, we love you, but you're not congruent, you're not relevant, you're not walking the talk. And I was like, you know what? I'm tired of making excuses. When somebody hits that threshold, they hit that breaking point. They have that moment in time, that defining moment where that's it. No longer am I going to play like this. No longer am I going to show up like this. No more excuses. That's the day that your life changes forever. And that was where I got to.
Well, there might be some people watching this that really don't have their parent passed away, their brother passed away, they're overweight.
Sure.
They've got the image that they're having a challenge with their career, and so they don't have the pain. The pain's not deep enough.
Sure.
What would you say to someone like that might be watching this, that wants to get healthy but is looking for something to muster up that motivation?
Yeah. Well, for me, I had a defining moment in my life,
Mm-hmm.
a couple of them.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just a question of what's a priority to you in your life. When you really think about what's most important
Mm-hmm.
in life, I've always believed in this, John. Focus on what you can control in life,
Mm-hmm.
not what you can't control in life.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes people just paralyze themselves in fear watching CNN, constant negative news,
Mm-hmm.
versus why don't you focus on your physical mastery, your emotional mastery, your spiritual mastery, body, mind, and spirit.
Mm-hmm.
Why wouldn't you want to show up as the best version of you so you could go out there and serve and make a difference in the world? Bottom line, you don't have to have a pain to purpose. Why wouldn't you make that decision?
Mm-hmm.
That, you know what, I'm going to be the best version of Jeff Roberti I can be.
Yeah.
Regardless if I have, one of these stories that we've shared, where you've had all this pain. Yeah, I went through some tremendous pain. Good friend of mine, Tony Robbins, he went through a lot of pain.
Yeah.
And he took control of his life. Oprah Winfrey, read some of the stories of people that are very successful out there.
Yeah.
They've had something that's happened to them in life, but they use that to propel them in life. But if you don't have that, then you know what? Just step up. Make a decision that you want to be the best you. Here's an offer for you to be able to take self-responsibility for your own health, and be able to start with you. You live the mission. You transfer your own transformational with your own life. So that all people see it.
Yeah.
People see me. I don't have to say a word. They're like, wow.
Yeah.
If people hadn't seen me in a few years, they're like, they think they've seen a ghost.
Yeah.
What happened to you? Puts the pressure on you. You got to keep it off, right?
Yeah.
And you show up the next time looking like that. Because we all know I was on the yo-yo, right? I'd lose a little bit of weight, and then I'd put it right back on. And up and down, up and down.
Yeah.
And then finally you break through that.
Yeah.
And then you say, I'm not turning back. That's it.
And it's just such good advice that you're giving. I hope people are writing this stuff
Yeah.
down and taking
Yeah.
notes, because this is really
And
good.
it's coming from an average person with an above average desire that wanted to make some changes in their life.
Yeah.
I wanted to live. I didn't want my mom to have to bury a second son. And there was you talk about purpose, a reason.
Yeah.
Reasons come first. That drove me.
Yeah.
So find out what your why is in life. Peel the layer of the onions. Get down to a why that makes you cry. Really, do some, start asking some questions. Go deep with yourself. Get yourself in a peak resourceful state. Put on some music. Have some quiet time, some think time. Most people don't take enough time to think. Just really get that quiet time and think about that RPM. What do you really want? Why do you want it? Then put together your map. Because the resources are there. The ultimate resource in life is resourcefulness. That's it.